In the early 18th century, one of the most important tools you needed if you were a new settler on this North American continent was a good firelock. Whether farmer or mercenary, hunter or soldier, a good long gun was essential for survival. While rifles were very common in some areas, they were usually very expensive and could be quite delicate. The most common firearm you will see in the heavy forest of this great new world was the smoothbore Fowler. While not quite as accurate as the rifle, the smoothbore Fowler was powerful, durable, versatile, and perhaps most importantly, affordable. Most nations developed their own versions of these so-called trade guns, and the French were no exception.
Hello everybody, this is Ethan from the 11 Bang Bang channel, and today I've got something that's really cool. I got the French Fusil De Chasse, or gun for the hunting gun. I have not fired this gun yet. I drilled the flash hole. I've loaded it up with 75 grains of 1F, and I put a 60 caliber round ball, and it's wadded on top with some green grass. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna see where this thing even hits at 25 meters. Let's see if it even fires. Sometimes they give you a little bit of a hard time right off the bat. Now, sometimes you gotta get them broke in. My flint may not be sharp enough. You try again. Yeah, I don't think my flint's sharp enough. Give me something brass. All right, first shot. Let's see if we can get this thing to fire. I was having some trouble. I think it might have been my flint was not quite sharp enough. But let's see if we fix that. That, guys, was pleasant. Let me go see where I hit on the target. All right, guys, I'm going to show you how I reload the 62 caliber Fusil De Chasse. Now, I've heard a lot of ways people pronounce this name. Some people will pronounce it Fusil De Chasse. As far as I know, I don't speak French, but I believe Fusil De Chasse is the proper pronunciation of the name of this gun. It means gun for hunting or hunting gun. So first off, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to make sure that the barrel or the flash hole is empty. Give it a little blow down the barrel, get a lot of airflow. I know that it's good in that respect. So now I'm gonna load my 75 grains of black powder using the powder measurer. You don't wanna load out of the horn, and I've done it on occasion, but it's usually because I haven't shot in about 10 minutes. This time I just got done shooting, so I'm gonna go ahead and load out of the measure. I will then retrieve one 60 caliber round ball, and we will go ahead and just drop it down the barrel. Now, for wadding, I'm actually going to be using an old tried and true method for wadding here, which is going to be a piece of this wasp nest. And the reason why I'm using wasp nest is because it's like paper, but it won't burn. So we're not near as likely to start a fire with this stuff versus as if we were to use just regular paper. Now, some people may be asking, well, why didn't you just use a patch like we do with rifles? And I've had a lot of people comment in the comment section, well, whenever I was using tow, a lot of people, well, this is why you use a patch, or there's all sorts of weird stuff. Women's underwear, I've seen that one, all sorts of weird stuff. And I don't know if these people realize this or not, but we're talking about 18th century frontier, especially with this gun right here. This gun was used in the French and Indian War in the 1750s, and I don't know about you, but cloth is probably not going to be my #1 go-to in an area where my nearest trading post is 50 or 60 miles away. and cloth is very expensive. I'm gonna go with something like hornet's nest all day, every day.
So I'm going to go over a very brief history of the Tulle Fusil De Chasse. That's right, it is pronounced Tulle. I know that that looks like a V as a second letter on the lock, but believe me, it is actually a U.
I think I hit.
So the history of the Fusil De Chasse begins at the very beginning of the 18th century, when French settlers who were on the North American continent were really needing something that they could defend themselves with and put food on the table for their families. Now, a lot of people will get this gun mixed up as a trade gun, and that is not exactly the case. The gun that they're thinking of is the Fusil de Traite, which means trade gun. There was also another Fusil that was known as the Fusil fin, or the fine gun. The Fusil de Chasse was used all the way from the French and Indian War, the 7 Years' War. There are some people who I have heard discuss about it being used by the Jacobite Rebellion. Not quite sure how much truth is in that. Take it with a grain of salt. And it was also used in the American Revolutionary War. They were very predominant in the North, such as places like Canada, and in the South, believe it or not, because of the French influence in places like Louisiana.
All right, guys, so another really cool thing about these smoothbore muskets that you really can't do with a rifle is they are very versatile for very many different situations. So I'm just going to demonstrate to you right now one of those situations. Now say that you need a round to defend yourself with, and you're afraid you may have to make a snapshot. What I mean by snapshot is that you don't have very much time to take aim and make a really proper shot. And you really have just got to get a round out and on target as quick as you can. For that, there is a pretty handy little load you can do with these smoothbore muskets. And I'm sure most of you guys who are watching this already know this trick, but you know, some of you may not. So I'm just gonna show you right here. First off, like always, load your powder. Just like always, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab a 60 caliber round ball out of my hunting bag here. And I'm gonna drop it down the barrel. Okay, make sure that it goes all the way home. Now, I'm starting to get some fouling, so that one didn't roll down quite as easy. Now, here's where the trick comes in. You can go ahead and take some buckshot pellets, and these are actually a little bigger than buckshot. These are 36 caliber round balls, and you can load them on top. I usually like to go with about 3. That was what was used in history. Now, this load is what you call buck and ball, and like I said, most of you guys who are watching this, you probably already know what buck and ball is, but I'm just gonna go ahead for the guys who don't know and let them know. It's that. It's one 60 caliber round ball for this Fusil with 3 buckshot pellets sitting on top and a wad sitting on top of that. Gotta go ahead and ram that home. 1, 2, give her 2 whacks. And this should be actually pretty devastating. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna prime up here. All right, guys, like I said, this is a new gun, and I am getting a lot of oil coming out of the barrel. And I know that I didn't put it there, so that's probably, a lot of you guys complain about you're having trouble getting these to shoot right off the bat. That's usually what it is. You usually gotta run a few rounds through it and get the oil burned out. All righty, here we go. That was pretty nasty, pretty nasty. Like I said, this is one reason why if I was in the backcountry of North American continent in the 1700s, especially in the 1750s, I would take a smoothbore over a rifle any day of the week. Way more versatile, just as powerful, if not a little more so. Let's move on. And here we have the devastation of that buck and ball load. So you can see here our round ball, I believe, hit it
Well, I'm not quite sure where it hit it. I think we got a hit with a round ball right here, and then it came out right here, tore it apart. We got a buckshot pellet there, and I got one more here somewhere. I think there. Yeah, there are a lot of holes in this thing, guys. So yeah, give a good shout out to the good old smoothbore musket. Okay, so guys, you remember I was talking about versatility with smoothbore muskets. One of the things that makes these so cool is I know I can shoot round ball, I can shoot buckshot, I can shoot buck and ball, or I can shoot some bird shot. Don't know if you can see that, probably not. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna load this up with a handful, just a handful. It doesn't have to be too accurate. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put a card down on top. Get her rammed on down there. Now, one of these things I will say about these military heritage guns that I'm not a big fan of is their super fragile ramrods. These ramrods are very, very fragile. I'm gonna be doing some work to this gun, and one of the things I'm going to be doing is replacing the ramrod with a hickory one. And yes, I know I dumped half my shot out, didn't get it down the barrel. Oh well, I got most of it down the barrel. Go ahead and put a wad on top. 1, 2, good whacks there. Now I've already poured my powder charge, so I didn't dry ball it, don't worry about that. I've already went ahead and I've dried out my pan because one of the reasons I'm shooting this so much today is I have got to burn all this oil out of this barrel to make this gun even remotely reliable. This is a military heritage Fusil De Chasse. I've been waiting for a while on this one. They're always out of stock. Everybody's buying these things up, and I'm really liking the gun. There are a few things that I'm not a big fan of, well, namely just one, and that is this ramrod. These ramrods on these military heritage guns that are made out of wood are extremely brittle, and I would use extreme caution if using the original, because what can happen is somebody can be ramming home and just really go into town with this thing, and it can snap off and impale their hand. Don't want that. So that's why you'll see me loading. I'm usually doing very short strokes, going up and down like this, and then I beat it down until I get it loaded. You have to be very careful. I'm not gonna keep this ramrod. I'm just kind of showing you what you get out of the box. Now, another interesting thing with this gun is the trigger. I kind of like it, not gonna lie. A lot of people would say it feels kind of, they'd probably not be a fan of it, but we know the gun's unloaded, but I'm gonna show you something here. This has almost a 2-stage trigger. Watch closely. See that? First stage, second stage. Kind of cool, kind of like it, not gonna lie. I do feel that this stock helps with recoil a little bit, just the shape of it, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna refinish this gun. I'm probably gonna brown the steel. I may even restock it in a nice curly maple stock that I may or may not have got off a gun broker for this, or a stock blank that is. But yeah, guys, this is quickly probably becoming one of my favorite flintlocks. As always, guys, keep your powder dry. Thank you for watching.